Right. This lesson is like a practical lesson, as I said, because in this lesson we will learn how to protect, how to keep our food for a long time. As a country like us need this in this moment, it's a very kind of essential process because in Sri Lanka, closer to 50% of the food, 50% of food are food sources or this 50% of basically fruits and vegetables. More than 50% of the fruits and vegetables, it's not used properly, and it will be like basically thrown away because of not preserving the crops. So it can be maybe maturation, ripening, or anyway, this is called degradation. So, or decomposition. So decomposition means basically it's breaking down into the elements that it has created. So that can happen due to aging and or maturation, right? So this is also called self-degradation, right? එහෙමත් කියනතර ඒ කියන්නේ ස්වයං මොකද්ද degradation කියන්නේ වියෝජනය. ස්වයං වියෝජනය කියලා කියන්නත් පුළුවන්, self degradation. It can be due to, right? It can be due to maturation. ඒ කියන්නේ වයසට ගිහිලා කෙනෙක් පරණ වෙලා දිදිලා. It can be due to ripening, and it can be due to putrefaction. So those are the things. So basically maturation or ripening or putrefaction, so these are main causes of degradation or decomposition, right? එතකොට කියන්නේ මේ මොනවාද ඒක maturation කියන්නේ අපි මේ මේරීම වයසට යනට වැඩි කියනවල වයසට යන මිනිස්සුනේ මේරීම මේ මෝරලා මේව වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ ඉදිලා මේව වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් putrefactions කියලා කියන්නේ putrefaction එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අර කුණු වෙලා යනවා. හරි ඉදිලා කුණු වෙලා මෝරලා එහෙම වෙලා මේක මේ degradation වෙන්න පුළුවන්. This is due to the enzymes present in the food, right? And it is actually chemical reaction. So anyway, so this is all these things. So there are a lot of things. These are just examples. There are a lot of other things that we need to know how this decomposition happens because of the bacterial activities, fungus activities, or microorganisms that can happen, or due to aging. So various reasons are there. But anyway, so because we have not preserved them properly, so the degradation can happen or decomposition can happen, right? Then so how we keep this long duration? So we can control the factors affecting this degradation. So what are the factors affecting degradation? Can you tell me? So what are the things that affect degradation? Why quick degradation or decomposition happens? So what you can do to protect them? Yes? We can control the temperature, one thing. Example, we can control the temperature because normally in the room temperature, so the degradation process is fast because the bacteria and microorganism activities are fast. But if you freeze this, then these microorganisms and bacteria and also the enzymes and this chemical process will slow down, maybe even stop for a long duration. So we can control temperature. Can you tell some other factors that we can control other than the temperature? Moisture, exactly. Moisture. So why? Because when a food have some moisture, so then the fungus and this bacteria and again the enzymes are more active, and it will be actively decomposing or degrading the food. Therefore, we can remove the moisture, make it dry. That is also one valid factor. Is there anything else? Okay, we can control the temperature artificially. We can control the moisture, humidity. Anything else? Yes. Anything else?
No.
So, okay, lime picker. Example, lime picker. Are we drying it? Not exactly. Are we cooling it, or are we freezing it? Not freezing, not drying. So how we preserve it? By putting a salt solution, right? By creating extreme. So if you add salt or add sugar and make the environment somewhat extreme, then also this bacteria and fungus sometimes can be controlled. So adding salt is one thing, adding sugar is another thing. We can keep that in such environment with high sugar or high salt. Then also it will slow down, right? So these are some main things. We can dry it, we can freeze it, we can add sugar, salt, and keep it for a long time. Those are the things, and we can maybe we can put in some other yeah, we can put it in some other environment like in sand. And another thing is basically we can sterilize or pasteurize pasteurize this milk like product. We can boil and then suddenly boil and remove all these what do you call these bacteria and all these things from the environment, and then vacuum it and keep it for a long duration. You can seal it. So without then the environment you cannot see. When the environment is controlled, then these activities will be low. These are some examples, right? Okay, so here actually 13.1, I hope that you have done that exercise, right? 13 food type and the observation related to these foods. It's correct that you have done, and yes, I read it. Good. So in some of these, you can observe, especially when it is not artificially controlled, you can see the degradation is faster. But if it is artificially controlled and preserved, then the degradation or decomposition has slowed down, right? Will slow down. Okay, let's move to the methods of food preservation. So I hope that most of method you are familiar. This is a general chapter. So because you don't want to worry much about this, because day-to-day life we are applying. So one main thing, as I said, you have to prevent microorganisms. Because these microorganisms, they like these food sources very much. They would like to consume that, and because of their consumption, the food will soon become unusable, right? Therefore we can control them. And that is one of the main thing that we can do to preserve it. And controlling the temperature and water or the moisture, so that is again to control these microbial activities. So the main issue is this microorganism. So we can control the environment, temperature, the water level. So reduce it, dry it, maybe add salt to minimize these microbial activities. And any other methods like boiling, pasteurizing, sterilizing. So any other method that would prevent, or maybe drying. Okay, so let's see how this is done in earlier days when technology was not there. At that time was when this technology was not extremely used. But the thing is, ancient people, they have preserved their they have preserved these things for later use, because so it is not possible to find crops throughout the year, the fresh things. Therefore, they used to keep their excess. Okay, they were keeping their excess in different in their storages, right? That is basically so. I cannot remember. There's a country. Let me search quickly. I'm not sure whether it is Bhutan or some other country. I think it is Bhutan. Wait, let me search. Bhutan, I guess. So they have 3-story house structure. Not exactly sure who are they, whether this is Bhutanese or some other people. Anyway, so this is there in Asian country, one of the Asian country. So it's not the time to search. Anyway, you can just search it. So they have like all their houses, all of their houses. It should be Bhutan or Nepal, some country like that. Anyway, Asian country. All of these houses, they use 3 stories, 3 floors, ground floor, the middle one, and the first floor and the second floor. Actually, ground floor they are using for because they are like using cattle and maybe chicken and all. They need to keep their animals. That is preserved for them. That ground floor. The second floor is the living floor. Sorry, first floor. It's not the ground floor. After that, the first floor. First floor is the living floor, and the third floor is used as food storage. That is a food bank. So all of their houses, I got to know that all of their houses having this structure, right? So because they value food preservation, they are in the food production. They value food preservation as well. In our ancient people also, they were doing a lot of activities like this. I have seen, I think you are also doing this mango, lime, fish like things. Salt in is done. When salt is added, then the microbial activities will be low. Why the microbial activities will be low? Because when salt is there, the environment is not really so it's not watery environment. Even water is there, but the thing is since there are more salt is basically attracting, or salt is attracting water molecules. So therefore, so free water, right, free or this fresh water is not there to then these microorganisms cannot consume water. So since they cannot consume water properly because the environment is extreme, since they cannot consume the water, they will not grow in such environment. That is why the food is protected. එතකොට මෙයාලගේ වතුර තියෙනවා, වතුර නැත්තේ නැහැ. හැබැයි වතුර යාට පාවිච්චි කරන්න අමාරුයි. Water they cannot use it much because the water is salty. So microorganisms cannot use this salty water for their activities. Therefore, their activities will be very low. So that is why salting can prevent degradation. Then drying is exactly as you thought. Drying is removing water. No? When moisture is not there, so how come these microorganisms grow? So if it is properly dried and if it is not exposed to the environment, because even after drying, so these microorganisms can come back. How? Yes, even after drying, these microorganisms can come back. Yes, how that can happen? වේලලා තිබ්බත් microorganism එන්න පුළුවන්. කොහොමද?
By moisture.
Yes, in the environment, there's moisture, right?
Yes.
In the environment, there's moisture. Then after drying, what should we do? Dry කරාට පස්සේ පොඩි වැඩක් කරන්න ඕනේ හින්දා. After drying, we need to do something. What? To prevent the moisture, what can we do? Okay, think about the products in the shops. Think about the product in the shops. After drying, what they have done?
Don't expose to the air.
Yeah, they are not. So what is the strategy? To not to expose to the air, what is the strategy that they have used? Yes.
They have smoking.
Huh? They have packed it, right? Well, using polythene or some other bag and vacuum sealed bag, right? Packing in polythene or some other like moisture preventing bags, not a paper bag, basically a polythene, right? Why? Or maybe in any kind of cover, or maybe it can be aluminum foil or something which prevent expose into the environment. Okay, then keep it under dry sand, lime, ginger, jack seeds. That is very simple method. Dry sand is basically so airflow is not very good, because sand is, when one sand is filled, it is like not really it's not a really good environment, that is that air is moving, because of the sand is really packed, right? Then, and it is dry, so moisture from the environment will not come to the sand will not attract that, no, therefore, so you can keep it for a long duration. Lime, ginger like thing can keep it for a long duration by doing that. And smoking is another thing. Smoking is basically for meat, fish, right? And this Goraka like products. So the smoking is done. Earlier days, these people use a lot of like firewood was used, no, not gas, and the other not gas and these electric ovens, those things were not there, so they use firewood, like therefore, so smoking is easy. Only thing that they did is they kept that on top of that place in the kitchen where are the smoking present, right? So then so smoke is basically, it is carbon. This carbon is covering, this carbon layer is covering the, just give me a second. Okay, so the carbon layer is basically covering this food, meat, fish, etc. And it will make it dry as well as, because of this cover, so it will be protected. And also immersing in honey. Honey, that is also again the same, it's like salting, or put in again similar to put it in sugar, because again it is difficult to get, these microorganisms cannot, or it's very difficult to get air, oxygen, as well as moisture. So then the microorganisms will not. Then the dry meat you can keep it in by putting or dissolving, not dissolve, actually putting in honey. That is another thing. These were traditional methods. Right. This is the smoking for fish. This can be done. They will keep this for a long time, long duration. Salt in mango. You can do this. This is tasty as well. Right? You can do this. If you find mango, just put salt and keep it in. Keep it exposed to the sunlight. Right? Keep it exposed to the sunlight and let it dry. After drying, you can keep it for a very long time, and it is tasty as well. You can just eat without cooking. Okay, then what are the modern methods? Modern methods of preservation. So one is the dehydration or removing water or the moisture. That is another name, drying. So you can use a solar heater for drying. You can see here, this one is solar heater, right? The black color one is basically to make it more hot, and this cloth line and stove. This is solar heater oven, which is created, and you can keep it in solar heater and dry it. So just putting into the solar sunlight will do that, but this will this will expedite, this will speed up the process. Right? This will speed up the process. Right. You can see how it is created. Some parts. This won't be asked, but don't worry. The stove is basically here the air current and solar ray absorber and black lining, then the glass or plastic cover. This actually this will absorb solar sunlight, and the heat will be transferred. Heated air will be transferred to the stove, and the cloth will help the moisture and then this air to be released through that, and we can keep things in the stove. So what will happen? It will be dried with this heated air. So that is how the solar drying happens. So this can be done for chili, vegetables, etc., and for even for fruits. So this is stove drying. This is using electricity, right? This can be done again for the same thing: fruits, chilies, vegetables. So you are using like high temperature and as well as the airflow, and dry using electricity. So similar to the solar drying, but solar drying is using sunlight. This is using electricity and heater. Spray drying, which is basically done for the dairy products, milk powder production. It is done by spray drying, and actually what is done, hot milk, right? Hot milk is basically, hot milk means in hot milk these bacteria and microorganisms are removed from the hot milk. So then it is spreaded. It is basically sprayed to the heated cylinder with high pressure. Right? Heated cylinder with high pressure, that will make a powder like thing. So that powder we can use. Right? That is also a way that we can use. Okay, then temperature control. So microorganisms really like the room temperature and something above that. But if you can control the temperature and if you can freeze it, so if it is below 4 Celsius, then the activities of these microorganisms will be very low. Right? When you control this, the activities of microorganisms will be very low. And deep freezing can also be done. Normal freezing is basically freezing around 0 Celsius, like ice, right? That is reducing the surrounding temperature, normal freezing. But deep freezers are freezing even for minus degrees, like meat like things you can keep by deep freezer, right? Actually, then the color and even the taste, all these things will be preserved for some amount of time. Not unlike the normal cooling, deep freezing can basically the natural color, taste, and nutrition values can be protected for a for large extent. But drying and this drying, heating, boiling can destroy the nutrients. That is the challenge. It will preserve the food, but the nutrients will be, because you are exposed into sunlight for a long time, because you are drying it and dehydrate it, because you are boiling it, it can kill some essential nutrients. It can remove some essential nutrients. That is the challenge. Okay, then, so here this one is the normal freezing, the cooler in the refrigerator. The vegetables and all these you can keep for some duration by doing that. But meat-like products, it's better to deep freeze. Meat, fish, ice cream. But vegetables and fruits, they advisable to normal freeze, because deep freezing can even damage them. Deep freezing can damage them. Okay, concentration. Concentration is basically where the carrying and bottling is done, and then basically water in the food is removed, and then high concentration, right, of food is basically stored. To do that, actually, so we can use salt. Also, we can use other than salt, we can use sugar, jam, cordial like thing, basically using sugar, and lime pickle, and some other chutney like things. Sometimes salt and sugar both are used. That is basically increasing the concentration. Increasing the concentration and removing water. Then again, the microbial activities will be low. Why? Because they cannot find good moisture and pure. These are sauce, right? Sauce, jam, cordial are examples for concentrated food. But high concentration of food will be stored there. Actually, concentration has it has a series of activities. It includes boiling, maybe cooking, boiling like things even. Have you made jam any like in your life? Sorry, in your history? No. Jam hadala dena?
No, sir.
No. It's not difficult. You can do it. It's not difficult, right? It's not difficult. You can do it. So cordial, jam, like thing. So it's easy. So there are a lot of fruits that you can try with, because in traditionally we are using limited amount of fruits, no, but now there are some like even different jam variations are there. You can try different fruits.
Okay.
Okay, these things we discussed the reason, right? Drying is basically why water is not there, so microorganisms will not grow. Controlling the temperature, the favorable temperature for the microorganisms is not there. Concentration or immersing in honey, again, it's difficult to get water because water is removed. Right? Microorganisms will not do. Smoking, chemicals in the smoke will remove the water, as well as it will protect, it will add a protection layer. It will remove the microbial activities. It will minimize, not remove. Adding chemicals, these are called preservatives. Right? That is another way, that is easy, another way of protecting food. So these chemicals can, like citric acid, can reduce, can like keep the fruit or vegetable. After cutting, you can put citric acid to stop changing the color, and also we can put some preservatives to keep it for a long duration. But these are chemicals. It's not a natural way. Okay, this is pasteurized milk. So how it is basically, right? The liquid milk is basically kept for a long time after pasteurizing. In this method, what is done, right? The bacteria is destroyed by heating milk for 15 seconds at temperature of 72, but not more than that, because that can damage the nutrition, right? So 15 seconds in that temperature, and then quickly you can cool down. So by doing that, destroying the bacteria, and after that, package well, packet it, and distribute. And then here, so you have to keep that. So milk packet that you this is pasteurization of milk packet is done basically 138 Celsius for 1 to 2 seconds. You cannot keep 15 seconds for 138 Celsius. Why? Because if you keep such long duration, it will kill the bacteria, but the thing is, it will kill the nutrition in the food milk as well. Therefore, it's only 1-2 second quick ultra. This is called ultra pasteurization. But you can keep that for a long duration, 2-3 months even, in a closed containers. කල්කිරි කියලා එහෙම කියන්නේ. ඒවා හද කල්කිරි වලට අතරේ කිරි පැකට්. ඒවා ඕනනම් කූල් කරන්න නැතුව උනත් තියන්න පුළුවන්. Right, but here there are sterilization. Sterilization is basically sterilized milk is again another way of preserving milk. In this, actually, milk is heated about 15 to 20 minutes at the temperature of 120. That is not a very good method, right?
Okay.
This milk need not you don't want to keep this in a refrigerator because it has already destroyed all these microorganisms because of long duration. But the thing is, so the level of nutritions can be a problem, right? So, but once you open, you need to keep this in a refrigerator. But still, you can use without a refrigerator. Also, you can keep it here. Also, this also you can keep without a refrigerator. But you have to store in a closed containers. Here also, closed containers need to be used. But this one normally kept in refrigerator. Okay. The chemical substances. So basically, these chemical substances added to the packaged food are called additives. These additives. So these are the things. So what are the additives that added to the different foods? So sometimes the flavors can be added. Glucose, saccharin. So some are not good to the health, but so these additives are basically used in the packaged food. Right, glucose, saccharin. Saccharin is especially we think that it is not good for our health if it is consumed in large concentration. Then thickness. To make it thicker, pectin is added. And as antioxidant to stop change in the color and keep it in a fresh look, citric acid, carotene can be added. Even so, these cut slices. So this is when you use citric acid instead of citric acid, you can use lime also. When you when you cut some fruit, maybe apple or something, just use lime to just use lime and wash it using lime water, and then you can keep it for a long time without color changes after cutting. That is what the supermarket people are doing, but that will add some other taste, but still you can keep it for a long time. කපපු හැටිය ඒක දැන් සිට්‍රික් ඇසිඩ් හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. සිට්‍රික් ඇසිඩ් තියෙනවා කඩවල නැත්නම් ඔයාලට පුළුවන් ඒ වෙනුවට මේ දෙහි වලින් දෙහි නිකන් ගාවලා තිබ්බත් නැත්නම් දෙහි වලින් නිකන් හොදලා වගේ තිබ්බනම් ඒකේ පාට වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Carotene is also such. Then preservatives. Preservatives are basically for keeping it for a long time. Benzoic acid, sodium metabisulfate. Sodium metabisulfite and benzoic acid are used for the used as preservatives. Coloring, food coloring, carotene is also a food coloring, and riboflavin is also food coloring. So this can be used to color these things, and these things can be present in preserved foods. But normally when you are doing this in your home environment, in your like if it is a homemade thing, basically we are not using much of these things. But if it is done in industrial level, then these things will be added mostly. Okay, so what is the difference between additives and preservatives? Yes, additives and preservatives, what's the difference? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, additives and preservatives, what's the difference? Did you listen to me? Additives means anything that is added to the package, right? Anything that is added in packaging is called additives, right? Not just for the preservation. Preservation විතරක් නෙවෙයි. Packaging කරලා විකුණන්දී package වලට add කරන ඕනම දෙයක් additives. හරිද?
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything like anything else that you need to tell? I think you have a doubt, it seems. Or didn't you hear me, or you have any doubt, please ask. Additives can be anything. It can be to improve the taste. රසකාරක වගේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Improve the taste, right? It can be to make it thick, right? ඒක තද ගතියට තියෙන්න දාන්න පුළුවන් මොනවා හරි. And it can be antioxidant to stop change in color, and it can be a color to change, like so you know this okay, for an example, think about okay, cordial, orange cordial. So the orange, sometimes they add orange color, carotene sometimes. This color is added. Why? To make it more orange-like look. Because actual orange look, orange juice or orange cordial is not really in orange color. Right? Slightly orange, but not that much orange. එච්චරම orange පාටම නෑ. ඕවට ගොඩක් වෙලාවට colors දානවා. ඒ විදිහට පේන්නේ. Okay? So what is an additive then? Yes? What is an additive?
Adding something.
Yeah, adding something. Why?
To preservation.
No, that is not additives. That is preservatives. හරිද? ඒක පටලවා ගන්න බෑ. ඔය adding something to preserve food is preservatives. Right? Preservative is a type of additive, right? Additive means in packaging, in food packaging, anything added to improve the color, improve the taste, improve the maybe the thickness. Those are called additives, right? Remember carefully. එතකොට මොනවාද additives කියලා කියන්නේ? මොනවා හරි දෙයක් අපි add කරනවා නම් ඒක package කරද්දී හරිද? නැත්නම් ආහාර අසුරද්දී මොනවා හරි දෙයක් අපි දානවා නම් ඒකේ රස වෙනස් කරන්න, ඒ වගේම වර්ණක මොනවා හරි දානවා නම්, උකු කරන්න මොනවා හරි දානවා නම්, ප්‍රතිඔක්සකාරක නැත්නම් antioxidants මොනවා හරි දානවා නම්, ඒවා කල් තියා ගන්න මොනවා හරි දානවා නම්, ඒ ඔක්කොම additives. හරිද?
Okay, sir.
ඒකෙන් preservatives කියන්නේ ආහාර කල් තියා ගන්න දාන additive එකක්. හරි?
Sorry, sir.
So preservative is an additive which is used to, it's also a type of additive, right? Preservative is a type of additive. Okay. Then there's something called like our approved mechanisms. එක ඒවා දානවනේ හැමෝම දැන් ඔය විදිහට කල් තියාගන්න එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් කරනවා. Because different people will use different chemicals and add them to keep it for a long time. But there is a E number, something called E200, E25, E205, E209. ඔය වගේ තියෙනවා E number එකක්. ඔය ඕවා ගහලා තියෙනවා මේ පැකේජ් එකේ. කිරි පැකට් වල එහෙම ගන්නවා තියෙනවා ගහලා. මගේ ළඟ මෙතන එකක් නැහැ පෙන්නන්න. Let's search for a milk packet and see. ඒ පැකේජින් වල ගහලා තියෙනවා E number. මයිලෝ බලමු. පේන පැත්තක් තියෙනවද බලමු. The detail side, you need to see the detail side. Actually, they are only showing this side. The detail side is not visible. This, but if you see actual packet, the detail side, that is small detail side. Yeah. Can I see this? No. This is not the one. Maybe this one. Oh, okay. Not in this, I think. But normally, in some milk packets, so these E numbers are visible, but this one cannot see any. Right, because it depends on the standards, SLS or this ISO, depend on these standards, right? Anyway, this E number symbolize, so whether using the approved additives. So basically E200 to E299 have been allowed. So these are the allowed additives to be added to added for the food preservation purpose, right? Mainly acids and salts. So these are names also given. So sometimes in this you have seen, right? Make it a nam tika nan dala tibba. Here can you see? Vitamins. Here. Maltodextrin, ferric phosphate, riboflavin here, riboflavin. What is riboflavin? Riboflavin was there. Here, riboflavin is a colorant, right? Carotene, riboflavin, these are colorants. So likewise, you can see. So try to find few packets as a homework. Try to do this. Try to find few packets and try to find these E numbers. Package inside, try to find the E numbers. If not, at least, so try to discover the presence of these things. Presence of these minerals, presence of these chlorides, and sodium metabisulfite. Sodium chloride is basically salt. Sodium bisulfite. Sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate, benzoic acid, acetic acid. So sometimes citric acid, right? So try to discover what are inside, what are actually added, what are the chemicals added to the packaging, other than the other than the other. Maybe you can take example, you can take lime juice. Lime juice is basically, so we need to see that the main thing is citric acid. But in addition to that, what is there in lime juice? Whether saccharin is there, whether sugar is there, or glucose is there, you can check it. So do it as an activity. Just take 5 packets, example, and list it down. Okay. Then again, there is a limitation. So there are standardization organizations, right, which set the limitations. SLS, for an example, SLS. SLS is Sri Lankan Standardization, right? Sri Lankan Standard Institute, that is SLS. Another one is ISO, International Standardization Organization, or International Organization for Standardization. So because even these additives and even these preservatives need to be added in a given concentration and given proportion. Sometimes some people are trying to add more additives, but to preserve it for a long time, right? But it is not allowed by these standards. And for an example, this the monosodium glutamate, MSG, right? It is not a preservative. It is not a preservative, but it is not good for health. Why this MSG is added? Do you know why this Ajinomoto like thing? People are telling this lot of MSGs are there. Monosodium glutamate. What it does?
Don't know, sir.
Ajinomoto අහලා නැද්ද? Ajinomoto කියලා කියන්නේ. නෑ.
Yes.
අහලා තියෙනවා. ඒවේ මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? මේ මොනෝසෝඩියම් ග්ලූටමේට් තමයි වැඩිපුර තියෙන්නේ. ඒවෙන් කරන්නේ රසකාරක කියන්නේ දිවට දැනෙන රස ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි කරනවා.
Yes.
Right? How we can feel the taste, it will improve. But when you get such food is even if you eat rice with lot of Ajinomoto or MSG, what will happen? You will feel high thirst. Right, because of the high amount of MSG use. MSG is not a favorable thing for the health. Right?
Okay.
It's not a good thing. But in this then we have instant food වල එහෙම තියෙනවා soup cubes වල MSG තියෙනවා යම් ප්‍රමාණයක්. ඊළඟට මේවයි මොනවාද මේ instant noodles වල තියෙන මේ flavored add කරලා instant noodles. So all these things are basically not good foods because of this monosodium glutamate. So it will give us a taste, that is true. It will increase the taste, but that is not really good for the health. Okay, then here example, here jam preparation. I said that whether you made jam or not. You can try this. You can try this. So it shows the steps of making a jam. So can you try that? Maybe you can, if you can produce extra jam, you can send it to my address also. Just joking, right? Just kidding. You can
Okay.
maybe because this is interesting thing. Make jam. You can use pineapple, or maybe you can use mango, any available fruit, right? Then ripe it and wash, ripe, and then you can cut it in small pieces. Heat it for a few minutes and slow heat in, and also add in sugar. So you can see a lot of sugar is there, right? You can add pectin. Pectin is basically added for the solidness. Why pectin is added? Because to make it solid. Citric acid to preserve the color, right? මේ citric acid දාන්නේ color එක තියාගන්න. රත් කරන්න කලින් citric acid දාන්න හේතුව රත් කරනකොට නැත්නම් අර ටිකක් දුඹුරු පාට වගේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So adding citric acid will preserve the color. Then pectin to make it thick, and also sugar, that is to increase the concentration and reduce the water level. And then you have to heat, and finally add sodium metabisulfite. Sodium metabisulfite is that is for the preservative purpose. Then finally mix and bottle it. Even without sodium metabisulfite, you can do it, but I think the duration that you can keep the jam will be a little bit lower than the expected. Okay, then these are different type of foods which are preserved. We have more thing to do, yes. About the standards and all we have to discuss. But it is small part. I think we can discuss that part next day. Right. For the moment, you can do this task. Right. And also find the additives which are used in different foods in some packets. Right. We have discussed up to 13.5. Chutney, jam, sauce, these are basically the concentrated preserved food. Meatballs, sausages, noodles, macaroni, these things are what? These things are freezed, pre-cooked and freezed. Mostly meatballs, these sausages are fruit, but noodles and all, these are dried and packaged. Milk powder, yeah, dried and packaged. Cordial, concentrated. Then actually this can be directly consumed. This can be consumed. This can also be consumed, but need a kind of preparation, right? Instant prepare, you can instantly prepare that. If you can just boil it, make it hot, or just fry it and use it, or put it into hot water and use it. But this you need to cook, dry fish, cereals, etc. Okay, the remaining part I'll be discussing next day today. And good night.
Okay, sir. Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.
Come.